Enjoy the community, have a good time, and most importantly, enjoy your freedom. Because we are all free, no matter how hard the government tries to take that away from us. We're all free naturally. But before I get started, I want to take a second to pitch a few items that we're going to be selling. We're all fans of capitalism, most of us in this room. It's the voluntary sort of capitalism, of course, not the state stuff. But we have a booth over here to the left that the lovely Catherine Blige is manning there. This lovely woman, inspiration, the light of my life. Got a little kiddo on the way, next generation. Yeah, we're looking forward to our baby being a part of this beautiful community that's really flourishing and lots of good stuff going on. But we got a lot of great items. We'd invite you guys to check out these Come and Take It shirts that were made in order to promote the David Simpson bill, pushing back on the TSA. We're going to be hearing from David Simpson later, by the way. David Simpson is in the house. Yeah. So these shirts are going for $15. Get them while they're hot. There's a limited supply. I think that was a victory, even though the bill didn't get passed. We're going to be chatting about that later. It was a major victory, and you know the battle may have been lost this session, but the war to restore travelers' dignity and freedom is not over. So buy the shirt. Yeah. All the proceeds on the shirt go to Texans for Accountable Government. Another thing we got is a little Liberty tee here for the ladies. And we have one that says Revolution, Freedom, and Liberty. Everything that you purchase over at this booth, also we have Brave New Books. Brave New Bookstore, 1904 Guadalupe Street. Everything you purchase over here, a portion of the proceeds, if not the whole proceeds, are going to go to Texans for Accountable Government. So we appreciate everybody supporting and donating with their annual membership, renewing, or signing up as a recurring donation. You also want to support TAG and also get some swag, some shirts, and some books. We appreciate you doing that as well. Brave New Books is one of the sponsors that made this event possible, and they've always helped Texans for Accountable Government since the beginning as a space for the community to come meet. Yeah, Brave New Books! I also want to sell you guys on these cards here, the little dime cards. They have a pre-1965 dime in them that's actually 90% silver. So rather than being worth 10 cents that the face value says, it's actually worth about $3 right now. 90% silver. So we have these cards. It's actually an educational tool. There's a TAG logo. We also have one for Brave New Books, Foundation for a Free Society, and the 10th Amendment Center. And on the back it has a little chart here that shows how much silver is in this card, this dime, and what the dime is worth in dollars. So it's a great educational tool. You guys check them out. They're $5. This dime is worth $3 right now. So if you take this, you can keep it in your pocket, and anytime a conversation comes up about sound money, you'll be able to show that and demonstrate it. It also shows just how valueless the dollar is. It used to be worth 10 cents, this dime, and that amount of silver. Now it's worth about $3. And finally, Surviving Shefdahl here, our good buddy Stephen Shefdahl, wonderful TAG activist. He makes these bracelets here. They're made with 550 paracord, which you can use. Not only is it stylish, my lovely mother's wearing one back there in the back. Stephen's got one on, so does Catherine. These are selling for $10, correct? Not only is it stylish and will you look smooth, sexy, yeah, but if you ever find yourself in some sort of survival situation, like you get abandoned on the side of the road, or they do QE3, the dollar collapses and it's all chaos, and you need to string up a tent, string up a politician, or whoa, wait a second. It's a peaceful movement. I'm just kidding. Or you know, if you need to climb up the mountain or something like that, you can take some 550 paracord. So appreciate that. That's $10 right here. And again, a lot of the proceeds go to support Texans for Accountable Government. So come see the booth, support your local movement. Okay, so my name's John Bush. I've been the executive director of Texans for Accountable Government for about 2 years or so. Been there since the beginning. Want to give a quick shout out to Chuck Young. He's not here with us, but he was the founder of Texans for Accountable Government and did a lot to inspire the vision, transpartisan, humanize, harmonize, localize, all that good stuff. But we've basically been around for the past 3 years. The mission of TAG is to create a free and prosperous Texas that everybody can enjoy, and I think we're really on a path towards doing that. Myself, personally, I subscribe to a philosophy known as voluntarism, which basically means that all relationships, associations, contracts should be mutually beneficial and voluntary, which means everybody should just get along peacefully. And if you want to do business with me or you want to associate with me, if you think it brings value to your life, then we can do that voluntarily. But there just so happens to be one institution, actually there's multiple, but there's one that really sticks out in my mind, that doesn't subscribe to that philosophy, and that institution is government. The Declaration of Independence, of course, says that governments derive their just powers from the consent to govern. The last time I checked, there hasn't been a government in history that did derive its power from the consent to govern. For the most part, they've ruled over the little guy, and they've been used to benefit the big guy and squash all over him to protect their businesses or to institute some nasty plan of control. And that's why I appreciate Texans for Accountable Government so much, because we've managed to be a wedge and to prevent those institutions from coming down and stomping on us. You know, the government does exist. City council's there, the state of Texas, and the federal government, which operates through the city and state government. And for the longest time, they've just been intruding and intruding and intruding upon our lives. And thankfully, people are starting to push back. Just in the past week alone, I've had a run-in with the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch of the government. Last week, we were going to Kansas City for the Nullify Now event, the 10th Amendment Center, talking about the tool of nullification, using the state government to protect the life, liberty, and property of the people against the federal government, something Texans for Accountable Government has been pushing also. So we were on our way up to Kansas City from Austin, Texas, and we made the mistake of taking I-69 instead of good old IH-35. And we found ourselves face to face with some piggies from Muskogee. You know, I'm a Okie from Muskogee, the Merle Haggard song. Well, we were driving up to Kansas City in our Ford Escape, which is fully paid for. Catherine Blash worked her butt off, and with the fruits of her labor, and she paid for a Ford Escape, her very first car. She owns it, but for some reason the state of Missouri insists that she pays a property tax on it. That's about $500 a year. So not only are they trying to force this money, you know, not only can we not afford the $500, but morally I have a problem with paying the state for a vehicle that we already own. So we were driving on our way up there, and we got pulled over, and they stole our car, and they impounded it, and they left me and Stephen Shepdahl here on the side of the road at 10 o'clock in the dark, completely vulnerable. Thankfully, we got the car out, and a mutual aid response team assembled, and they managed to raise most of the money that it cost to get the vehicle out, and we had rides that took us from Kansas City, picked up a lot of stuff that we were picking up from Kat's moms, but the community came together and was able to push back on the state. Then I got back to Texas, and I had to deal with an expired inspection sticker. You know. Again, I'm not a deadbeat, I just have a moral problem with having it, my vehicle was just fine, totally safe. The inspection sticker was expired. I went to the courtroom, and I was using some of Eddie Craig's tactics. Some of you may be familiar, where you go in, and of course the state requires that you have a criminal complaint given to you a day before the trial, and the judges never do that, and nobody ever calls them on it, so I was there to call them on it, but unfortunately the judge wasn't going to have it. She did not respect my due process rights, and I ended up being escorted out of the courtroom by an Austin Police Department officer just because I was objecting to her entering a plea against my will, which is against the law, because a plea can't be entered until a jury is impaneled. So my rights were violated by the judicial branch. And then I had the pleasure of having my First Amendment right to petition my government for a redress of grievances violated by Mayor Lee Leffingwell. Or as I like to call him, the clown Mayor Lee Laughingwell, who will go the way of Shady the Clown here shortly if he tries to run again. But myself, as well as Clay Defoe, who's in there. Clay Defoe, the future, ladies and gentlemen. Clay Defoe. As well as Ronnie Reefer, or should I say Ronnie? Reefer. Myself and Ronnie were banned for a year. Ronnie was banned because he introduced himself, as he always does, with the token. Ronnie Reefer, the mayor wasn't having it. He's been in a pretty bad mood. I think he's going senile. I'm telling for real, I really think he's losing it. I was booted out because the mayor insisted upon implementing a rule, an arbitrary rule, where you can only speak on 3 items. Only 3 items. And this was in response to Clay Defoe, who's been there holding these guys accountable like no other. So again, Clay Defoe, my man Clay Defoe. So he implements this rule. Once the 4th item comes up, you know, I'm signed up for the 4th item. I'm not one to have my rights violated. At least willingly, I won't have my rights violated. So the item comes up. It was actually to spend $600,000 on tasers. Yeah, so I stand up and I say, Mayor Leffingwell, I signed up to speak on this item. He said, nobody else has signed up. I said, I signed up to speak. I'm not going to allow you to violate my rights, Mayor Leffingwell. He said, you need to sit down, son. And I said, no, Mayor Leffingwell, we will not let you take us down like this. And then he had the police escort me. And then they banned me from City Hall for a year. So right now, if I go onto City Hall property, not even in the building, even on the sidewalk, I'll be arrested. So how's that for consensual government? I do my due diligence to take part in ensuring that the government doesn't violate my rights, and just by doing so, they decide to violate my rights. So I'm out for a full year, but thankfully, there's so many people, and I'm so proud to be a part of this organization. I'm just one man, and my ability is nothing compared to the ability of all the people that are in this room that are going to go in there and fill my shoes, and they're going to make even more of a fuss and more of a hubbub. So it's totally going to blow up in Old Man Leffingwell's face. And I know that the people's voice will still be represented. Because that's one of the beautiful things about Texans for Accountable Government. We don't lay down, we are bold, and we're not afraid to stick it to the man. I still got 5 minutes to introduce our next thing. Katie? 5 more minutes for the next one. Okay, so I'm a peaceful person. I've been in trouble with the law quite a bit in the past week. There's been no victim whatsoever. Every single one of these instances has been me not complying with the state's force. So to tell you the truth, I'm just about done with it. And I'm going to adopt the strategy of non-participation. And I'm going to be a peaceful individual. And I'm going to exercise my right to travel freely throughout the United States of America. I'm going to exercise my right to keep the fruits of my labor with the income tax. I'm going to exercise my right to keep and bear arms without asking permission. And I'm going to do that, and I know it's risky right now because there's not many of us that are doing that, but I feel confident that there's an organization like Texans for Accountable Government that if I were to be in trouble for exercising my rights, which again, it's very difficult to be a free man in an unfree world, there's a group of people that are going to have my back. And I'm very proud of that. I just want to encourage everybody that it may be difficult, and we are in a transition phase right now, but I would encourage more and more people to live in a manner that's consistent with your inherent freedoms. And that means that you don't have to ask permission to travel, you don't have to ask permission to carry a firearm, you don't have to ask permission to keep the fruits of your labor. And there are organizations and individuals out there that are going to make sure they have your back because of that. So again, Texans for Accountable Government, we've prided ourselves in focusing on those institutions which most inhibit individuals' ability to do just that, to live consistently with their inherent freedoms. We've stopped checkpoints, we've stopped the Family Protective Services from coming and interviewing your children without a search warrant. We've stopped the Fusion Center in Austin from sending infiltrators to collect information about us and our political views. And, we're not going to stop. And we're reaching a turning point where the state is in its death throes. Many people are aware the United States may experience a financial collapse. They're not going to go without a fight, and they're just going to get nastier and nastier. That's why I believe it's absolutely important that we keep the community together. And that's why I'm so proud to have been a major part of Texans for Accountable Government for the past 3 years. But it's time to breathe new blood into the organization. And this 1-year ban from City Hall couldn't have came at a better time. Because I'm going to be stepping down as executive director of this organization. I think I've really done a lot to help the group grow and to inspire others to take action. And there's a lot of people in this room that I've seen grow as activists that have started off shy, speaking in front of the camera. Travis Snavely is one of the examples. Speaking in front of City Council. The first couple times, you could tell he was visibly shaken, visibly shy. And it wasn't but another 2 or 3 months that he just took the bull by the horns on this parking meter extension. And, before you know it, he's there going toe-to-toe with the city council members, going back and forth. They're asking questions, batting the ball back like we're playing tennis. So it's really beautiful to see people grow like that, and I'm glad this institution has been a means for people to start off being interested, knowing that something's wrong, and to feel empowered and powerful enough to actually go out there and make change. And another one of these people that I've watched grow and really come into her own to a very powerful force, and I'm glad it's on my team. I'm glad I'm not on the other side of the aisle. And that's Heather Fazio. going to keep talking while I look for something. Hopefully we don't get things here. So Heather Fazio, in the early days, she would go out there and she would speak her mind. And she would let them know exactly how she feels. And it was a beautiful thing. She really, I could tell that there was something special about Heather Fazio because really she had the huevos and the gumption to go out there and be a strong leader. And there's something about Heather that I think is powerful that I was never able to do. And you know, I'm a spontaneous order kind of guy. I'm not a big organizer or planner. So while I was the executive director, that wasn't really the role that I filled. I didn't do a whole lot of directing or a whole lot of organizing and keeping things in order. And Heather was always there. Katie Brewer was always there as well. What's the phrase? You know, behind one big man is 5 or 6 strong women. Having 5 strong women. But a lot of the times I was the public face of TAG, and I was the one in the media and stuff, so I think I got a little bit more credit than I deserved. TAG wouldn't be anywhere it is today without the hard work, Travis Snavely, Katie Brewer, but I think especially Heather Fazio, who just in the past 6 months it seems, has really, again, grabbed the bull by the horns and turned this organization into a powerhouse. She's there working every single day, organizing these events, making sure people are on task, delegating. She's really come into her own as a leader. And for those of you who've seen her speak to City Council lately, woo! I hate to be, again, I hate to be on the other side of that. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to pass the baton, to pass the torch to Heather Fazio, because I know she's going to take this group to a whole nother level, something that I was never able to do. Mainly, again, she's got the fire, she's got the passion, she's got the motivation, but she's also organized and dedicated too. And I think that she's going to be a wonderful tool to assist you guys in becoming more powerful and growing as well. So we got a little something here for you, Heather. Here we go, Heather. Something for the TAG mascot. This is for Bo. Heather Fazio, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Beautiful. Yes, thank you all so much for the support and love. I appreciate it. I honestly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't have the support of everyone out there in the audience today. And John Bush, can we please all give it up for John Bush? Rabble-rouser and a mentor to not only me, a gadfly, to me and many others. So I appreciate his service to this organization and to the movement for freedom once again in this country. So thank you very much, John, for everything that you've done and everything that you've been through. And that you are and will continue to be, I hope. We'll still be involved even with that beautiful baby on the way. I am really proud to be a part of this organization. I have been involved for about 2.5 years, and I didn't realize how much of an opportunity there was in front of us, and not just me, but all of us, to really reclaim our freedom. This country was supposed to be the place where people could live freely, and I am determined to have that country restored for my children to live in. And I know that I'm determined to do that. The thing I appreciate most about Texans for Accountable Government is that I've had the opportunity to come into my own, and that I've been around people that support me and that are as dedicated to the cause of liberty as I am. And we can all be leaders. We can all do our part. If you have something that you're passionate about, write a proposal. If it takes some money, write a proposal to the steering committee and let's get it done. It's all about individuals. This organization is nothing without each and every one of you doing your part and being involved in the causes that are important to you. So I would like everyone to give a round of applause for themselves for thank you for being involved in this organization and being involved in this movement. predecessor is quite long-winded, so I'm going to end my acceptance there. And what we're going to move on to now is a wrap-up of this year. We have accomplished so much in this last year. We have so much to be proud of. And I know that Nate Thomas has kicked butt all year long, producing videos and demonstrating what we've done and giving us a presence on the internet. And I know that he has a video, but I'm not sure if we are ready to play it yet. Great, then we're going to play his video.
It's a year in review. I had a month and a half to do it, and I just did it all this morning.
Of course. It wasn't up to the last minute yet.
Never do today when you can put off till tomorrow.
The work on this is not even the last minute yet.
Session, but would have made it a misdemeanor for TSA government agents to pat down passengers at the airport.
Thank you, Nick Perry, from Mount Adams Hospital 1937. TSA enjoys sticking hands down the pants of Texas travelers. We enjoy viewing the bodies of women and children through the scanners. We know you have presidential aspirations and have touted the 10th Amendment in the past. We are confident you will do the right thing and stop the unlawful entry and intrusive actions of our agency. We are very afraid of Representative
At the beginning.
Chief Acevedo wanted to train the police officers to take your blood. We pushed back. Now we're trying to inform you of your constitutional rights. You have a right to refuse. You have a right to due process. You have a right to be free and secure in your property. You have a right to your DNA and your blood. Well, you get pulled over tonight, refuse breath and blood test, but don't drive drunk. Check out the back. We got information on free rides home.
Why have a federal government we're going under you in control? Now I want to talk to Heather Fazio with
They tried to tell us that we were an option. These machines are and I looked right at the TSA director, and how dare you suggest that we can either have a virtual strip search or be molested by federal agents? That's not
you have a choice of two. You have get firing squad or electric chair.
Pat-downs. It's something going on around the nation. Austin Bergstrom International Airport does not have the full-body scanners yet, but this group came out here to keep it that way. We're joined now by some of the organizers of this protest today, and we want to ask you guys, go ahead and tell us, many people agree with you, but what do you have to say for those who say it's about safety?
Well, what's interesting, actually, the manufacturers of some of these naked body scanners have even said that they would have prevented the underwear bomber or the shoe bomber. On top of that, a lot of people think that this terror threat is overhyped. We're still waiting on the government, to investigate the testimony of Kurt Haskell, who said the underwear bomber was escorted through the security by a man in a suit, and that hasn't been looked at all.
So then what is the alternative to all of this? I mean, you guys don't like the pat-downs, you don't like the full-body scanners. I mean, what is it? You'd rather have someone walk onto an airplane with a bomb?
Stop going around.
What we like to see are effective bomb-sniffing dogs, chemical machines that detect explosives. If the government was serious about protecting us, they'd look at explosives detection as opposed to this mass in violation of our rights.
And the American Civil Liberties Union met with council members' aides today to express their concern over the scanners. They are concerned about the radiation, they say, coming from those machines, and they also believe they're just too invasive. The group is hoping city council members will recommend to the TSA that the machines not be installed at AVIA.
A resolution passed by the City Council would send a message to policymakers at the state and federal level that we want real, accountable airport security in Austin that's going to protect our civil liberties as well as our lives.
Development and getting these grants, it's all part of a push for sustainable development. Councilmember Cole brought up smart growth. Of course, I've mentioned in the past about Agenda 21. I won't get into the details of that. But I do want to point out that a lot of the stuff that we're pushing, our vision statement, is the 3 E's from Agenda 21: environment, equity, and economy. And I just want to point out that many of these programs that you guys are taking money from the federal government to carry out, or programs that we are throwing city money at, you know, they're claimed to be for sustainable development and smart growth, when in reality they're defying the 3 E's. For example, the first E is environment. Well, it's plainly clear, and it's evidenced by the fact that I drive past that red line every single day. I'm sure you do too, Councilmember Martinez. We live in the same neighborhood, and it's empty every single time. I see 5 to 7 passengers sometimes. This is even during the traffic, high traffic time. Maybe I'm missing it when it's full, but every single time I've seen it, it's you know, less than 10% occupied. And I think the reason is because you didn't let the market dictate where this rail should be. You dictated it by your desired growth zones, which goes back to the smart growth, central planning, regional planning under Envision Central Texas, which is again another front for Agenda 21.
Instead of guns for groceries, the group Texans for Accountable Government will be out here in South Austin offering cash for guns, and instead of like the Austin Police Department is planning on doing, well, the group is planning on giving these guns to citizens.
And I'd like to announce that our first annual Guns for Cash APD counter program, countering their guns for groceries, was a great success. We've collected over a dozen firearms, and rather than destroying them like the Austin Police Department plans to do, we want to put them in the hands of peaceful, law-abiding citizens who are in need of firearms to potentially go
personal, and they hoped it would send Texas lawmakers a message. In an effort to reignite the controversial anti-groping bill, these activists dressed as TSA agents and staged security checkpoints so Texas lawmakers would witness what a pat-down really entails. The bill did not pass during the regular session, but would have made it a misdemeanor for TSA government agents to pat down passengers at the airport.
Thank you, Rick Perry, for not adding Hospital 1937. TSA enjoys sticking hands down the pants of Texas travelers. We enjoy viewing the bodies of women and children through the scanners. We know you have presidential aspirations and have touted the 10th Amendment in the past. We are confident you will do the right thing and respect the unlawful entry and intrusive actions of our agency. And we are very afraid of Representative David Simpson. Stop us from groping your women and children! You will not comply. You will be forced to have a pat down. You must answer us. Answer us.
Shut up, lady. You sound like a whiny brat. This is for your own good.
On behalf of the TSA, we would like to thank Rick Perry for not adding Hospital 1937.
$100,000 for parking we already have for architectural consulting services for Austin Energy's new system control center in the amount of $230,000. That's another $300,000. This is another absurdity. It's another unnecessary expenditure. Retail consultant services for retail recruitment. We don't need retail recruitment. Austin is a great city. People will come to us with the free market. $50,000.
speaking with me, you said they no longer call it the war on drugs because the war implies that someone's going to win, and they know they can't win.
Can we win the war on drugs?
Again, I'm not going to categorize the situation as a war.
Okay, that's the government's term, the war on drugs.
I think it used to be, but I don't think this administration is using that term.
Okay.
So we use it.
16 states in the United States have approved medical marijuana. And the government's own investigations have shown the validity of marijuana as a great medicine.
This last clip from the DEA, when the DEA was here, that was the most recent time. But since our last anniversary party, they were here another time, and they actually admitted that they can't control cannabis. They can't control cannabis, any of the drugs that occur naturally in nature, just as they can't control prescription drugs, an industry that they heavily regulate. In October, we did our annual Vampire Cops. We protested the no refusal weekends that we were doing here in Austin. Complete violation of our right to due process. A judge who's sitting on call to rubber stamp any warrant that comes to him is not due process, and it's unacceptable, and we're not putting up with it. And that's right, I'd like to see this fight reunited, so anybody out there who wants to be a leader and take this up on the city level, please come and talk to me. We need someone to spearhead this issue. We will be dressing as Vampire Cops again for Halloween, so start organizing your work. In November, we participated in the national opt-out protest. We had the protest outside the airport. The news came out, you guys saw that. But inside, we also had an informational table inside of the airport to pass out information to travelers and to TSA officers themselves about the dangers of body scanners, the radiation, and the absurdity of the pat-down. In December, we supported a resolution passed by ABIA, or the Austin's Airport Advisory Commission, which recommended that the Austin City Council oppose the deployment of body scanners and enhanced pat-downs in our airport. We were very fortunate to have a commissioner on that board that introduced that resolution. His name is Robert Torn, and he really did a great job. It was a solid resolution with every fact about the fact that they are inefficient, that they're dangerous, and that they're totally unconstitutional. So that was passed. We supported it in the city council. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get it passed. They have passed the buck to the federal government, but we are still working on that. Actually, as a matter of fact, an update on that, Councilmember Laura Morrison, who was our 2010 People's Champion, she has agreed to sponsor a forum at City Hall about body scanners coming to Austin. Organization for that has begun, and we are aiming for late October, maybe early November, when the travel season really starts and that there's momentum and we can get people thinking about these issues. In January, Guns for Cash, you guys saw that. That was a great event. It was a success, and it was so much fun. And R.L. Acevedo came out. It's too bad we didn't get that picture in there because he took a picture with us. It was really great. We did a little humanizing with them, talking about how having more guns in a society means that there's less crime, and the facts show it. In February, we began working with Representative David Simpson, who's here tonight. At that original meeting, as well as Aaron Day, who's here somewhere, who's was really great help for me in the legislature. I really appreciate everything you did and all of the advice and help that you gave me to navigating that place. And so we sat down with him, and Norman Horn's here, and he's actually going to talk more about how you write a bill and how it all started. And, you know, it really was very organic, and it really is something that anybody can do. And we participated from the very beginning. My part was boots on the ground, and I think that we definitely demonstrated that there are people paying attention to not only this issue, but everything that the Texas legislature is doing. During the spring, we focused on the legislative session, which was certainly our most successful legislative session that we've had so far. Last time we got in at the very end and we participated and we helped to stop checkpoints. This time we were involved from the beginning to the end, and once again we stopped checkpoints from being instituted in Texas. So the very best part is that we don't have checkpoints, but it was really great to see how the two efforts that we did really helped. We had the activism effort, which we didn't get in there, but I'm sure that you've all seen the Nazi video, where we went and we dressed up like Nazis with our brown shirts and our armbands, and we demonstrated just how absurd it is to institute laws that authorize checkpoints in a free country. I guess it's debatable whether we still live in a free country, but a bill like that being passed would certainly solidify it. I mean, everything that's done in totalitarian countries is legal, and they change it through the process, and so that's why it's so important that we participate in the legislative process, because we can get mad about the taxes, we can get mad about the cops, but the bottom line is our legislators, our selected legislators, are passing these bills, and so that's why it's so important to be involved every step of the way. So there were two fronts that we took with that effort. We did the demonstration with the political theater, dressing up like that. We presented the Führer's Favorite Award to every legislator that either authored or co-authored the checkpoint bill. It was a great success. It was a lot of fun, and it was successful. The very next day, Senate Bill 9 was reintroduced, a committee substitute that did not have the provision for checkpoints. Right there. With well thought out, articulated testimony given during committee hearings. I mean, it is valuable to have people going and doing the raw demonstrations and getting the media out and getting people's attention, but there's also a lot of value in being professional and going and articulating everything in a manner for which they can understand, speaking their language and asserting our rights. So we did stop checkpoints. We we worked really hard on the Travelers Dignity Act. We were very blessed to have a representative that was willing to put everything on the line to stand up for what was right, and we backed him up, and we went literally as far as we could. The only reason that didn't pass is because the leadership in Texas did not want it to, and we have a year and a half from now to change that leadership. Another part of Senate Bill 9 was GPS tracking devices. They wanted to be able to, without a warrant, put a GPS tracker on your car. And the reason they said, well, the FBI can do it. Well, the FBI and the federal government have been violating our rights for decades now, and we're not about to sit by and watch our Texas legislature do the same thing. To that, and by the next hearing, another substitute bill was introduced in which that provision was excluded. We pushed back on Real ID. We killed it 3 times, 3 different bills. It was a really great success. We did all of our lobbying efforts. Unfortunately, at the end of the legislative session, they snuck it into a really big bill, and they did pass it. So now we have temporary visitor stations where immigrants are to go, and it's really ugly. We'll talk about it later. Don't renew your driver's license. That's an option. Surrender your driver's license if they make you forfeit your 4th Amendment right in order to renew it. That is an option, and it should be discussed. We made some serious waves during the spring in the Austin City Council race. We had one of our own, Chris Bailey, is here, I believe. Running for office is a really great way it's a great form of activism. You can go and you have the opportunity to be face-to-face with these incumbents and call them out for what they've done, their voting records, the policies that they've instituted, and the things that they talked about, and then they championed during the last election cycle, and then just let go by the wayside during the actual time that they were in office. And so running for office is really important because it gives you that opportunity to talk to them, put them on the spot in their element, in front of their voters. And so, whether you're in a winnable race or not, there are plenty of winnable races, don't get me wrong. But there are other ones that let's get in them, let's have somebody in there and call it just like you see it. put them on the spot, and we have an election cycle coming up in November, not in Austin, but other places around the state. But then 2012 is going to be a really big year, and I hope that we have plenty of people that are, just like us, taxsters and people that that are getting involved in running for office so that we can push back on it. Another part of the election cycle that we had really great success in was unseating an incumbent. We had a really great campaign spearheaded by John Bush, Shady the Clown. It was a lot of fun and totally successful, and while the person that took her spot she's still a statist, don't get me wrong. But she's not the incumbent, and we demonstrated that we're able to get an incumbent out of office. So during the next one, there are a few people that need to go, and so we'll all be there to make sure that in June, we had, it was still on the same lines as the TSA bill, but we had our rally. We had a very successful rally at the Capitol, and very shortly after that, we had our bill added to the special session. And so it's that kind of political pressure and doing things and getting out there, just showing up. I mean, really, things like that, you just need to show up and you can make a difference. And everybody that was there that day really made a difference in getting in Perry's mind that this is not going away, we are not going away, and we are going to demand that this be put on a special session. And he did it. Yeah. Locally, we had our Travis Snavely, John talked about earlier. He really stepped up as a leader. It was really great to see, and if he hadn't done it, we would not have the reduction in the extension that we do have now. We were able, it was a compromise, I hate that word, but it was a compromise, but it was a damn good compromise, and we got what we wanted, and so that was a big success. Thank you, Travis, for stepping up. Water fluoridation, Fluoride-Free Austin's here tonight. Referred to the Health and Human Services Committee where we had Dr. Paul Connick come and engage them and give them the facts where they dominated that debate. It was great. But recently we have a really great opportunity to get the warning for fluorosis and osteomalacia added to the water bills. And we think that this should be done very soon, and I'm really proud to be a part of that organization. They've been working so hard, and they've had a lot of success. And so thank you guys for all of your hard work, and we are going to get that on the water bill, and then we are going to be the largest city in the country to reverse the practice of water bill. Jen Studebaker, I don't know if she's here tonight, but she spearheaded an effort to prevent the mayor from banning plastic bags. Now, this is not to say that people should be using and throwing away plastic bags like it's nothing, but the bottom line is that the city council doesn't have the authority to ban them. And so he wanted to ban them, and he had to settle for a study. And so that was a success in and of itself. So we will have the study, and we will have to fight this again, but it did not get passed. That's the bottom line, and it was because of Jim's efforts in stopping that. You all heard John telling you about what happened on Thursday with the mayor infringing on our First Amendment rights. Not only our First Amendment rights, but on the city's own code. It says clearly that the presiding officer, the mayor, may not limit the number of items that a person can speak on. They are misconstruing it, and it's completely unacceptable. And there are three people whose rights were violated that day, and there will be action. There is legislative activism, which we have gotten good at and we will continue to get better at, but there's also judicial activism, and that is where we need to have each other's back when we take these guys to court. So that was this year. We had really great successes, and it's because of each and every one of you being involved, whether it was a phone call, an email, coming down to the Capitol, going to City Council, whatever you did your part, you were a part of all the success that Texans for Accountable Government has had, and I thank you all, and I hope that you all continue to be engaged, and bring your friends, get them involved, let them know that we are starting to change the way that this government operates, and into the way that it should, which is where we run things.
because it's kind of confusing when you're coming in and you're checking everything. I don't know if we're there yet, but the first 100 drafts of Lone Star were free at the bar. We have food, free food outside under a cabana, outside that people serve you tacos. So you just go over there, and if you're hungry, you go do that. I don't know how long you'll be out there, so if you're hungry, you might go. It is streaming outside, so you won't miss anything. Okay, so there's that, and then there'll be cake later, so don't forget the cake. This is the part of the ceremony where we, all the people that receive those videos, and every one of you that really make TAG successful, that we say thank you, and this is our chance to do that. And there's quite a few awards because there's so many awesome activists, and we just couldn't say no to somebody if they really made a difference in TAG, so we have quite a few. I'm going to be very quick, and so I really need your attention to listen for your name, because if your name is called to get your award, come up here. I want all of them all up here, and if y'all could take a picture of all the awesome, like the top TAG, like this is what TAG is these people that come up on the stage, that's TAG. So listen for your name, and then come up here and accept your award, and just stand there for a minute. Or you can stand up here, but I really want y'all up here so we can take a picture of y'all. It's very important to take a picture.
Hey, Katie, should we hold off on the applause until we get everybody up there?
Yeah, please, just, it's 25 of them. I know. So I just want to name off these names, and y'all come up here, and y'all just stand right here and take a picture, and then y'all can get down, because I just want to call your name, come up here, and then y'all get on. Okay, because we gotta go. Oh, no. Oh, Heather's gonna help me, bless your heart. I wasn't wanting that so bad. Okay. Kathy Vidal. Kathy Vidal, she is always there, always. I can always count on her for anything. If I asked her, she would do it. Kathy Vidal, thank you so much, Kathy. Come on. Y'all don't clap, Get up for Kathy, get up. Norman Horn, he did that awesome website stuff, AustinScanners.org. You can email and like send 1,000 emails at one time. It was fabulous. It was so many people. Chris Nielsen, always keeping Austin City Council accountable. He's fabulous. Gabe Bigger, past year, been awesome with speaking and doing all kinds of things. Always there. Chris Nielsen, Gabe Bigger, Clay Defoe. Telling you, man, the future of TAG, Clay Defoe, I'm telling you, he just gives me chill bumps when I see him. Laura Presley, PhD. Yeah. Doctor. I mean, if I went to school to be a doctor, I would want you better. Catherine Bleish, she did the awesome, what do you call it, those costumes for the demonstrations. Those were Catherine Bleish's. Okay, so. Catherine Bleish. I put him on the back, so I have to do that. Come on, right here. Okay, now play it. What's next one? Steven Sheftoff. Come on. I won't bite. Mary Krennic. What's the next one? Taylor Netting, always there, always there. Next one, look on the back. On the back of them, all the names are there. I know, I forgot just to make it easy and we forget. Ben Gore. Ben Gore, always there. Came in from drove an hour and a half for some meeting. It was amazing. Randy Peterson did all the Nazi demonstrations. He was basically Hitler. It was his idea for the TSA. Went amazing. Marissa, thank you, Marissa. Come up here, Marissa. Just for 2 seconds. She's someone that I know from the end of the table. Because Marissa's been doing it all night. Bless her heart. Marissa's her. John Bush, Executive Director from 2008 to 2011. 3 years. The best leader by example right there. Leading by example, John Bush. Carlisle Rice. It's written on the back, baby. Carlisle Rice. General activism, doing the newsletter. Rob Love, videos, speaking, all around awesome human being. Rob Love. Trey Reginelli, treasurer for TAG for the past year, 2 years? 1 year. Wonderful. 1 year, Trey Reginelli. That's a really thankless job, so give it up for Trey Reginelli at the end. Zach Calvert. I'm not sure, I don't know Zach. Jen Studebaker, the bag lady. Legislative baptism. Chris Bailey. Chris Bailey. Running for office. All around great taxer. Next.
He was just arrested for driving an electric vehicle down
Heath Stillwell. He's in Houston, and he does all of our flyers. So that awesome tag flyer, he does that. He will do it in a minute's notice, and he's awesome. Nate Thomas. Nate! Nate does all of our videos, including the one you just watched. Thanks so much, Nate. He's so fabulous. Nate, get up here. Kurt Reitler, he does our sound. I don't think he can make it tonight, but Kurt does all our sound at our meetings, like so you can hear us. Monica Ricketta, who also couldn't make it tonight. She was on the steering committee and always there, whatever we need.
Travis Stabley.
Travis Stabley! Steering committee and really stepped up. Travis was really shy when he started tag, and now he's leading a movement. He has come out of the show. Okay, let me move out of the way. Please give a round of applause to all of these wonderful people. This is tag. Along with your generous contribution, these are the people that show up every day and do all the work behind tag. So thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. There's Nate. Nate. All right, so one of those. Okay, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Vote Rick Perry.
Ron Paul.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, John's drunk, obviously.
I've not yet begun to defile myself.
What? No, sir. No, we have a tight schedule. We're already behind schedule. Sorry. No, get off. Get off. Okay, here's my list. Yes. Are you ready? You're nice,
I'm not going to tell what it's
He's working the camera, so he has eyes up there. That's just right there. He shoots my legs there. No. You're fine. You're our guest, you know.
Are you ready, John? John Bush, everybody!
Okay, I have something very special to do here. But first, I want to let everybody know that we're going to be doing a raffle. And the raffle, you're going to have the opportunity to win one of 3 silver ounces. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. I donated one of them. Stephen Sheffield donated one of them, and Brave New Books donated one of them. And real quick, I want to give a big shout out to Pure Rain, Dr. Presley and Pure Rain. They're a big supporter of Texas for Accountable Government. And these are going to be going out as awards here in a little bit. PureRain.com, or is it Pure Rain USA? PureRainUSA.com. Also a sponsor of the Live Free Now radio show. Okay, so the raffle tickets are $1 each, and they're up at the front table. And I will also be walking around selling tickets here in a little while. And you'll have the opportunity to win one of 3. They're each worth $40. But real quick, we're going to go ahead and close out the tag Guns for Cash. We brought in the Guns for Cash that I organized, and we had tag support in the media and getting activists out there. But we managed to buy 24 firearms from the Austin Police Department Guns for Groceries program. Those firearms were going to be destroyed. They later were destroyed, but we intercepted them, and now what we're going to do is put them in the hands of peaceful people who may not be able to afford firearms, who don't have firearms, who may not be able to defend themselves. We're going to put firearms in the hands of these people, and we're going to do a free instructional safety class with Surviving Sheffield here. Yeah. So I'm going to give out a certificate here to a few people. Some of them aren't there. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to give them a free firearm, and they are going to, in exchange, they're going to help us build what we're calling sovereign gardens in people's backyards. A project I'm going to be working on in the next few months is we're going to try to build 100 raised bed gardens in the backyards of economically disadvantaged families here in Central Texas. And we're going to get the people that receive these firearms to help us out. So the first one's going to Chanda Seymour. She's not here. She sent me a text message. It says, "Arm yourself for freedom." Chanda Seymour will be receiving a firearm from John Bush in exchange for assisting in the construction of raised bed sovereign gardens in Central Texas. Molan Labe, peace and freedom through community and self-defense. So we're going to get that to Chanda Seymour. The next person that's going to receive the firearm is going to be Heather Fazio. Heather Fazio! Yeah, come on up. Heather Fazio is going to receive a firearm, and she's going to help us build raised bed gardens in the backyards of economically disadvantaged families. Also receiving a firearm is going to be Jared Camarata. He's not here this evening, but we want to give him a big thanks for helping to support the Guns for Cash program. And also, Jack Blood. Is Jack Blood in the house tonight? He was supposed to be here. Jack Blood will also be receiving a firearm in exchange for helping us support building gardens. Okay, now I have one that doesn't have a blank. If there's a single woman in the audience that does not own a firearm, that's also not a felon, and is 21 years or older, and you want to build a sovereign garden in exchange for the firearm, we got Marika. Marika, come on down. Come on down, Marika. We're going to give you a firearm, a little .22 pistol, and you're going to be able to defend yourself should someone come to harm you. I'll put your name on that later. And of course, you'll exchange another one. Kathy Vidal, where are you? Kathy Vidal, come on down. We want to give you a firearm in exchange for sovereign gardens. And the Guns for Cash event, a lot of people were nervous about that. They said, "Oh, this might be a little too risky. What if they arrest you?" We did our due diligence. We went over all the laws. We spoke with lawyers. You can give a firearm to anyone as long as they're not a felon, as long as they're 21 years or older, as long as they don't intend to use that firearm for a crime. No crimes, ladies. And as long as they're not intoxicated when they receive the firearm, which is why we're giving them certificates this evening. Okay, we have one more blank one. Is there another woman in the audience that needs a firearm? Come on up, come on up, yeah! What's your name? Katrina. Katrina's going to receive a firearm from me and the local activist movement. And again, in exchange, she's going to build some sovereign gardens for us. And she's not a felon. She's 21 years or older, totally legal. This is how you exercise your rights. Wait till the next time APD tries to do Guns for Groceries. Half of the firearms didn't end up working, so we're going to take those firearms and we're going to trade them in for grocery cards. And then we might take those grocery cards and add $20 to them and exchange those for firearms from the people coming out. There you go. So in the meantime, everybody, if you can find a junk firearm that costs like $20, you can take it there and get $100 worth of groceries to feed your family, and you can pull the cards out of circulation so they can't give them to other people. We're doing that again. So I want to thank everybody for participating in that, and you guys, you're going to be committed to take a firearms safety and instruction course with Stephen Shepdahl. It's going to be a brave new book, September 8th. Everybody's invited to this event. It's going to be a free firearms training class. And by the way, remember, this whole Guns for Cash thing was done by me personally. Texans for Accountable Government just provided support in the media, and there were a lot of tag activists there. But everything was me personally, and it's me personally gifting the firearms if there's any infiltrators in the room. All right? So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Katie. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome! Okay, John. I know there was little things in that.
Remember, 3 ounces of silver will be raffled off. There's probably about 150 people in the room, so if everybody buys one, you still got a pretty good chance of getting a good bang for your buck. Plus, it all goes to support Texans for Accountable Government. Yay!
Next up, of course, I'd like to ask our treasurer, Trey Reginelli, to come up. Trey Reginelli is going to be announcing our top donors for 2010-2011. Trey Reginelli.
Thanks, everyone. Hope you're having a good time. So TAG is an entirely member-driven organization We're fully funded by our members. We don't have any corporate sponsors, no foundation supporting us. So your contributions really made everything happen that you saw in that video earlier. So I just wanted to also recognize our monthly sustaining members. That's really important. Thank you everyone who's doing that. We really appreciate it. So our top donors for the 2010-2011 year will receive a book, Rollback, signed by Thomas Woods. Very nice. You'll also receive a case of pure rainwater. So the autograph from Tom says, "Thanks for your supportive tag. Best wishes, Thomas Woods." So the first name is Gordon Walton. Gordon, come on up. Jerry Ward. Heather Fazio. Bo Zimmerman. And Monica Mercado couldn't be here, but thank you very much, Monica. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your support.
Awesome! Okay, next on the list, keynote speaker, Norman Horn. Okay, Norman Horn is an amazing man, and he is the man behind writing the TSA bill. Like, he took the bill, tweaked it, and he's also a getting his master's degree in physics. Is it right? PhD in chemical engineering, and I forgot what I was saying on your phone. Norman Horn is awesome, and he's your keynote speaker, and I will rectify myself in just a minute. Norman Horn, everyone!
Well, thank you all. It's a great opportunity to be here and to be with all my friends. You guys are an amazing set of friends who, we've worked together for the struggle for liberty. It is my honor to work with you as much as I have been. And it's a particular honor to have worked with many of you in the fight against the TSA over the past year. And what Katie asked me to do is just kind of tell you a little story and tell you what happened, how did we get started working against the TSA, what actually happened there. So what I want to do is kind of tell you how it all began, the opposition that we faced, and then some of the lessons that we learned from it as a result, and to hopefully give you a vision for how we can continue to affect legislative process in the future. So let me tell you about the very beginning. It's kind of funny when you think about it, because really it didn't start with much. All it really took was noticing trends. At first, I began to notice really two very prominent trends in the fall of 2010 that really caught my attention. The first was the growing opposition to TSA and what they were doing in incorporating body scanners and the invasive pat-downs in all of the airports that we have to encounter. The second trend that seemed to be also coming into vogue was this idea of nullification. Now, what we were doing here wasn't exactly nullification, but what we were looking for here is a way to converge interests for multiple groups and find a way to unite people behind this. So that's basically what we did. We, because of the rapport that I had already developed with Representative David Simpson, he had newly been elected on November 4th of 2010, and I got to know him a little bit shortly thereafter. So we started a conversation, and it kind of went like this. I said, "Hey David, what do you think if we could give the TSA a swift kick in the rear?" And he said, "Well, Norm, tell me more." So we launched this conversation, and we started building a team. We put together a great team of legal advisors, of researchers, web gurus, politicos from all across the political spectrum, and then we began to write these bills and build our strategy. By about December, we had put together the team. We started meeting. Heather was there. Aaron Day was there. It was a great help to us as well, helping to formulate exactly what our strategy was going to be as we attacked the next legislative session. Now, by the start of the legislative session, we were just about ready. We had already written a few bills. We were just about ready to submit them, and we wrote 3 bills primarily that ended up getting submitted, and then we had some others that didn't exactly make it through. But here's basically what we did. We had 3 bills. The first, as you know, it was one that was specifically dedicated towards amending sexual assault statutes to try and make sure that if somebody touched you in an airport, that they would be basically prosecuted for sexual assault. The second was specifically oriented towards the body scanners. And we wanted to try and separate them for particular reasons, but we wanted to really tackle the body scanners because there was a big amount of growing evidence that those scanners are completely unhealthy for you. So if I leave you with anything today, don't go through a scanner. It may save your life. The third bill was really an assistive bill. It was actually a resolution, a joint resolution with the House and Senate. And the whole point of that was to give prosecutors an idea for how to go about prosecuting any cases that would come from the first 2 bills. So we scoured the Texas Constitution and the United States Constitution in order to figure that out. How do we put it all together to give prosecutors the information that they needed in order to prosecute effectively against the TSA? We were, at the same time, on the grassroots side, Heather Fazio and others were putting together an incredible coalition of groups, which included people from all across the spectrum, everything from We Are Change Austin to the American Civil Liberties Union to Republican Liberty Caucus, the Libertarian Party of Texas, multiple Republican county groups from various places. There were just people from all over. I think overall it amounted to over 20 groups by the end of it. And they did a fantastic job of building this coalition in order to spread the message a lot better. TAG was involved in that too. TAG was really helpful. We started from the beginning doing that. We also adopted a few other newer strategies that I think that, for me, this was really new. A few folks that, some of them are here, Morgana Galloway, Jerry Ward is here, and Pierre de Rochemont went over to local community service groups like Rotary Clubs or the Austin Breakfast Club and started giving presentations on these issues. So they would talk to people about why these scanners were insane and why these all of these searches were unconstitutional and why, in the context of our history of pursuing liberty, that these were completely these were completely out of line and un-American. And so in that strategy, I think we won over a lot of people who we may not have even been able to approach before. And I really would encourage us to use venues like that in order to get our message across in the future. It was something I didn't anticipate, but they did a wonderful job in doing that. Now the next thing that we did that was rather unique is that we had an unparalleled internet activity. Let me just give you a few examples. Wesley Strackbine with TSAtyranny.com put together an amazing website, putting together all sorts of information about what was going on all across the nation. We had SupportDignity.org, which was all about the bills themselves and what was going on in the legislative session. And then there was this website that I kind of started, a small little thing called StopAustinScanners.org, which really was focused on about 3 different things. One was giving people an idea of what our community concerns were for these scanners and for these pat-downs. The second was actually outlining the science behind the scanners and why they would be unhealthy for you. Then finally, we wanted to move everyone we could towards activation. And we developed some tools that would basically allow you to fill out a little email form and email the entire Texas legislature in one fell swoop. And more on that later, but what I'm kind of getting at here is that in all of this stuff going on at once, we were developing a perfect storm. It was like a status worst nightmare. So with that there was we were developing this wonderful network, a wonderful group of people who were working together to accomplish this goal together. Now back in the legislative side at least, David Simpson was of course working tirelessly on his end. You didn't see nothing until you were sitting up on the House floor and you watched David going all around, talking to all the legislators. You never see anybody move like that. But David did a wonderful job in garnering support with the legislature. He actually got over 100 people to co-author the TSA pat-down bill within actually mere weeks, really. It was amazing. And so we had an incredible amount of support for these bills. Every committee that these bills went through, or at least that the pat-down bill went through, basically, well, it went through unanimously. Never had a problem. And it was incredible to see what we could accomplish in that regard. Now, we did encounter a lot of snags, as you know. Let me tell you kind of that story. On May 24th, the day that the Senate version of the bill was to be read for the first time in the Senate, we had some villains show up. The Department of Justice came to town. They delivered a letter. They delivered a letter to the Senate and to the Lieutenant Governor saying, look, if you guys pass HB 1937, you're going to have a problem. In fact, the TSA is going to shut you down. They basically said, we are going to establish you into a no-fly zone. Can you believe that? Think about that. So not only are they saying we're threatening your rights, we're not going to allow you to fly unless you let us sexually molest you, and it's to ensure your safety, by the way. They're threatening to shut this entire economy down. So we pushed back on this, and in fact, in the ensuing days, an amazing thing happened. Senator Patrick, on the night of May 24th, made a statement to the Senate where he said, this is our come and take it moment. He picked out that great line from Texas history and said, guys, come and take it. Here it is. And we responded in turn as well. You guys did an amazing job at getting the word out. Oh, there's a come and take it flag. I was thinking she's telling me to stop. There's a come and take it flag over there with the flame as well. But, oh really? I want. Okay. No, so what happened on those ensuing days is that following Patrick's come and take it statement, we put together an amazing group of events. First of all, we basically activated everybody we possibly could. We had students from all over the state emailing people. We used Facebook, we used Twitter, we used email, and we used, in particular, StopAustinScanners.org and sent over 1,500 people used our web forms in a period of 2 days, resulting in over 30,000 messages sent to the Texas Senate in a period of 48 hours. Can you imagine being a senator with an inbox like that? Oh my. It would have been scary. Oh man. But the Senate was still spooked. They didn't end up passing the bill. They were just too freaked out. When the Department of Justice comes to town, people tend to get a little scared. Nonetheless, we still pushed back. We ended up keeping on, and keeping on, and we had rallies. We kept on with our emails via Stop Austin Scanners, and we got it placed on the special session agenda finally after a massive effort of emailing and a massive effort of phone calls and faxes. You guys did an amazing job in making sure that took place. So David Simpson, of course, worked tirelessly in support of this as well. And in other words, he's very deserving of so much credit here for making this all happen. Now, nonetheless, we worked really hard and tried to get it passed. It didn't end up happening. The machinations of our illustrious three, Speaker Strauss, Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst, and Governor Perry, ended up finally thwarting our efforts. They didn't. The evil sons of guns still got us. But there are reasons not to lose heart.
Shine the light.
And there are reasons to really consider this even a victory. First off, we sent some serious tremors through this system. The entire country was watching us the entire time. Let me tell you about some of the attention that happened. We made the front page of Drudge Report 4 times in big headlines. If you ever read that. From the Lone Star Report, Support Dignity, TSA Tyranny, they did that. We were in every newspaper we kept on getting emails from people saying, hey, you're in this newspaper, Orange County Register. Hey, you're in the Washington Times. Hey, you're in the Washington Post. Hey, you're in the Chicago Times. And we have email after email outlining things like that from people. Strangely enough, the Austin American Statesman did not, they didn't really cover it much. Sorry, tongue slip. Well, nonetheless, we sent some serious tremors through this system. And it's amazing. You should never underestimate the power of free people in small groups, which is really what we are. We're a bunch of free people in a small group, but we made a big dent with them. And that's something to really be encouraged about. This was really one of our first forays into the legislative process. I don't know how many people have written a bill? I had never written a bill before. But you know, it's really not as difficult as you think. When you can put a team together and work together, it becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot easier. So I take it as an encouragement to you. You can do this. It doesn't take a PhD. I don't have it yet. So, I'm working on it. Well, we learned what it takes to move a legislature as well. We found that, you know, with our efforts to stop Austin scanners, we even have a baseline now of the type of internet response that we need. If we can generate 30,000 emails over the course of a few days, well, gee, that's a pretty good start. But we really sent over, in fact, I think the final count was somewhere on the line of over 60,000 emails that our website sent over a period of about 2 months. So that is a lot, guys. It is a lot to deal with. We also learned what type of effort that we need in order to work together with people in the legislature to make things happen. We need friends in the legislature, guys, and we have a friend in David Simpson. And we're very so we know now what we need to do in order to work the legislation well. But I think lastly, I want to encourage you with one other reason why this is a serious victory, and that's that we did win the war of meta issues. Now, you say, ask me, what is a meta issue?
What is a meta issue?
Oh, thank you. What is a meta issue? The meta issues are essentially the principles of liberty that we hold that we're trying to get across to people regardless of whether our legislative efforts work or not. And I think that we can say very surely that we did make an impact here. Because people from all over the nation were looking at this and watching our actions. And we made a difference there. From the TSA Nazis to our faux pat-downs on on the Capitol grounds, we made a difference in showing people the decrepitness of this state and showing them that this state government does not care about you. And it's going to take us holding them accountable to make anything happen right.
Tell them, Norm!
That's right. This is also why we build coalitions. From the beginning, we've always said that TAG is about building bridges, so we need to focus on that. We need to remember we're not merely making a ruckus, we're making friends. Okay? We're not merely making a ruckus, we're making friends. And that's what we did. We think about the amount of people that we influenced through our activities here to promote the values of liberty that we all hold so dear. From the people of the ACLU to the people of the Republican Liberty Caucus, all of these people can benefit from our libertarian perspective. That's what we're trying to communicate to our coalition and to the public at large. So as we do this, we hold high our banner of liberty, we hold true to our principles, and that's what really counts in the long run. So with that, I'm going to conclude with one other small thought for you. I think this should be another mode of encouragement. Consider that this is our first attempt at something like this, and that in our first attempt, it took the Speaker of the House, a corrupt lieutenant governor, a corrupt governor, and the entire freaking Department of Justice to stop us. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what it's going to be like when we come back for round 2? Thank you. I'll be around for some questions afterwards. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
At Austin also holds a master's degree in chemical engineering and theological studies. He is the former leader of the UT Libertarian Longhorns and is considered to be one of the godfathers of the modern student libertarian movement in the Southwest. He has a well-known blog, libertarianchristians.com, which spreads the libertarian message to Christians and in all denominations. Recently, he has been heavily involved, as you heard, in the TSA bills introduced by Representative Simpson in the Texas House and was one of the main designers of StopAustinScanners.org website, which helped generate around 30,000 emails, phone calls to the Texas Congress this legislative session. I forgot to print that out. I apologize, but it's worth noting because he's fabulous. So, Morty Hort, we have two things. One first thing is that we all gave you a ticket for voting, and you might not know some of the people that are running for steering committee. They will all, in a few minutes, come up and give their 1-minute speech on why you should vote for them. And we're also going to be taking nominations from the floor, so that's why there's some blanks. So please just hold your ballot. You can get your ballot right over here at voterescue.com at your leisure, and walk up. They'll tell you what to do. So there's Vote Rescue right there. And
Vote
then,
Rescue!
And you know, it's just when you give out awards, it's so hard to get everybody. And I just want to thank each and every one of you because literally you've made a phone call, you've made an email, You've done something, and really every single one of you is important, and I meant to tell you that when we were giving away the special people that are just hardcore with it. But literally, one event, if you came to one event, if you did one email, you did one phone call, we really appreciate that. So thank you so much. I forgot to say that, and I wanted to make sure I got that in. Very end, Robert. Very end. What is the next thing on my list? People champion. Okay, can I have Laura Presley come up, please, to the stage? Laura Presley, co-founder of Pure Rain, the water that was donated right here to our top donors, and a fabulous water, Dr. Laura Presley.
Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Laura Presley. I have a PhD in chemistry from UT Austin. Yeah. And I spent 17 years in the semiconductor industry as a manager and engineer. And just recently, this last 6 months ago, I quit that and I am now running my water business 100%, and I'm just incredibly happy. So we are the most chemical-free and fluoride-free water on the market, period, and I have the data to prove it. Anybody wants to question that. So I've got the data. So the reason I want to run for the steering committee for Texas for Accountable Government. No. All right.
So sorry.
Okay, this is now Activist of the Year Award. We will come back to the steering committee later. All right, let's change gears. Okay, so we are going to give the Activist of the Year Award, and there are 2 people tonight that are going to get this award. They are phenomenal women. They have been leading and driving fluoride-free Austin since 2008. Okay? I want to kind of jump to the end of the movie. They have spent an inordinate amount of hours and their passion and their love and their heart for fluoride-free Austin to get fluoride out of our tap water that every one of us has to deal with in our showers, okay, in our water. All right, you cannot get away from it. So what has happened recently with all the efforts that they have done is we are about to get a warning on our water bill that says the dangers of fluorosis and bone disease that fluoride causes on our water bill. Okay, we have warned City Council to a nub. There's nothing left. Okay, so Ray Nader-Olnick is our first one. This woman is a walking angel. Okay, you are wonderful, Ray. And the second is Linda Green. Linda. These women are tireless.
I'm almost speechless. I'm not used to getting awards. Okay, thank you so much for giving us this honor. Of course, we have been at it for a long time, but it's the whole group that is making things come together. I was thinking earlier that Fluoride-Free Austin should have a birthday party like this too, and then I realized it would come too soon. And that's no coincidence, because in a sense, Fluoride-Free Austin really is an offshoot of CAG. It is. It dates back to those days when there were some Freedom Force meetings at Brave New Books, and John was involved, Katie was involved, I see Gordon out there and other people too. And fluoride was always on the agenda, but it was always the last thing on the agenda. And so John was taking a leadership role at that time. We had talked about this before. And one day I said to John, I don't remember whether it was before or after I started, I said, you know, I think I'm just going to take this and run with it and see what happens. He said, go for it. So the founding event was when I spoke on October 16th, 2008, which is just it's only 6 weeks after this. I spoke before the city council, all alone, having no idea what would come of it. I absolutely did not know where I was going with it. I just knew that somebody had to do something. I did that for about 3 months, and then on February 12th of 2009, I was joined by Linda. Linda showed up and began to talk. Our talks then caught the attention of Neil Carman, who's not here tonight. Dr. Neil Carman, a very distinguished member of the Sierra Club, and the rest is history. It just took off from there. And I want to say Heather has kind of stolen my thunder in this, because I was going to comment that Fluoride Free Austin is truly an organization of leaders. I mean, we have so many leaders. I hesitate to mention the ones in this room tonight because I might leave someone out, but certainly Dr. Laura Presley Rob Love has been very active. Mike Ford, and we've all benefited from the efforts of Nate, of course. I've been out of town a lot lately, and I will have to say it has Fluoride Free Austin has just gone on smoothly without my presence, just as I always hoped it would. It just continues. I don't have to be there. All these other leaders are there leading. And the one last thing I'll say is I've been out of town a lot in St. Louis, settling the estate of my mother, who passed away in February, and she was a great booster of this. She was in her 90s, and she remembered when fluoride was first implemented, and it pissed her off. In our last conversation that we ever had in last December, she said to me, I like what you're doing. Keep on doing it, and we will.
This is a really big surprise. It's a beautiful, beautiful award, and like Ray says, it goes to many people at Fluoride Free Austin, because as our website says, we're a loose coalition of activists, and any little thing you can do will help, and it will make a huge difference. And I want to acknowledge Mike Ford right now, because several months ago, Mike came up with a resolution to submit to City Council. And Mike, where are you? Can you come over just, Mike? Mike came up with a resolution that was asking the City Council to put a warning on the label, on our water bill, which is a huge concession for them if we can get them to do that, because once we get that warning label on the water bill, people will see it, and then it'll be the first domino. And my son, 32-year-old son, is not here, Philip, but he took the resolution and he kept reworking it, and it'll be on the website soon. And what we're hoping is that you can get businesses, environmental groups to sign this resolution. Our post office box is at the bottom, and then we're hoping to get 1,000 or so signatures to give to City Council. And go to our website, Fluoride Free Austin. I got involved in this by going to Brave New Books. And the book that inspired me was The Fluoride Deception. I encourage all of you to read that. And there are a few of our resolutions and flyers on the table over there in the corner. And thank you all, every one of you who's done so much, and don't stop.
Thank you, ladies.
Activist of the Year!
They mentioned Brave New Books, and Brave New Books has always been a great supporter of TAG, and we are a great supporter of Brave New Books. And Harlan Dietrich is the owner of Brave New Books. He's here tonight. So there he is. And tonight is his birthday. I would like to sing happy birthday to him. What do you guys say? Let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Harlan. Happy birthday to you. I love you, Harlan.
It's also coming up, about to be the 5-year anniversary party of Brave New Books. 5 years, Brave New Books store. And we will be celebrating come Halloween, I believe, for Brave New Books. 5 years, yeah!
1904 Guadalupe Street, bravenewbookstore.com. Go check it out. All right, up next.
Heather will be announcing our 2010-2011 People's Champion, and I'll let her announce it.
We've had a lot of leaders step up, and one definitely stands out in my mind. And during the legislative session, I definitely felt like I was on the front lines. But this man was in the trenches. David Simpson. People's Champion 2010-2011, Representative David Simpson. Thank you for your hard work and diligence in bringing travelers' dignity to the forefront of Texas politics. We are proud to stand beside you in the fight for our freedoms in Texas. Thank you. And we have a gift for you put together by Marika.
Thank y'all so much. This is really what I couldn't ask for anything. Thank you, because this is about individuals. It's about people. And I'm here because of God's providence and the people. My race in the primary began without me. 2 months before I ever even considered running. When the people were concerned with the former representative and asked him about the Constitution, which he acknowledged his ignorance of, and didn't even know which one was the 10th Amendment. And he's going to be running against me again. But I would just like to say I sure wish my wife could be here. Susan, Annie, my children, and my family. We just got back from Pennsylvania, taking my son to Grove City College because of the Ludwig von Mises emphasis and their economic. But we didn't fly. I haven't got I don't have the time right now because I'm afraid that I'd have to delay my trip because I'm not going to submit to that intrusion if they seek to do that. So I took a train, a 26-hour trip with my daughter. It was very special. We enjoyed it, except she probably caught some germs. I tried to wash her hands and whatnot, but she got pretty sick, and then my wife got whatever she had. So they would be here. Thank you so much for this. And I do believe we had a tremendous victory. I wanted to say a whole lot more in my personal privilege speech than I did, but you're prevented in the House rules from coming anywhere close to doing something ad hominem, and I didn't want to do anything ad hominem, but I did want to address some real issues. One of the things I learned at the very beginning, when we just filed the bill on March 1st, and then wanted to do it on Independence Day, March 2nd. But when I got about 20 co-authors immediately, the Speaker's Chief of Staff sent two of the freshmen to talk to me to explain that this legislation was not going anywhere and that the governor did not support it. That happened in March, early March. And that was doing just what the TSA does, and that's bullying. They wanted me to sit down and shut up. But I didn't. I didn't do a lot of kneeling. I knelt at some of those desks 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And we ended up at the highest point, we did lose a few at the end, of 115 co-authors. That's how popular liberty can be when people promote it. And this is a great victory for individuals and for freedom. Freedom does bring people together. And we had really a direct proportion of the Democrats on the bill as Republicans. And until the very end, when David Dewhurst started bashing President Obama, that was used as an excuse for the Democrats to get off the bill and to stop the bill procedurally. But I want to encourage you all. I didn't know Norman was going to give his speech, which I'm so thankful for, but as I drove down here, they haven't outlawed this yet, but I wrote all this down as I drove. And I didn't harm myself. But I have a list of probably, that I could think of at least about 20 organizations, and TAG certainly was one of the foremost. And I had a list of individuals' names of at least 30 or 40 here that I could come up with immediately. There were someone did a Freedom of Information Act, and the governor received over 10,000 phone calls in the last week or so of the special session. That's because of y'all. This is a great victory. And we need to continue. We need to make this issue a part of the U.S. Senate's race. It already has been brought up. We need to make it a part of the presidential race. Anyway, I don't want to take too much of your time.
Hey, preach it, bro.
This is, well, I can tell you what it was like. You know, I was just down in Galveston, and I was looking at it was just before one of the storms, and the surge of the sea was really, really high, and it was really beautiful. Then there's some signs out there. Some of them warn about riptide. And, you know, when the first time you go out in the ocean, it looks so beautiful, and, you know, you take the warning a little bit You know, there are going to be some problems probably when you get out there and feel that. But not until you feel the sand being swept out under your feet, until you feel the pressure on your calves, you really understand what the temptations are. And I'm grateful to God, to His grace, and to the people, to my family, to have a good conscience. You know, our biggest temptation today is to idolize civil government. You know, what is, we have the most magnificent Capitol in the United States that I know of. It's bigger and more spacious than D.C. But it's deceiving. It's like the ocean. It's very beautiful. But the pressures to do wrong are tremendous. And many times the pressures to do wrong are in the name of doing good and in preventing evil. But that is not government's job. Government's job is simply to enforce the rules between individuals, to punish the wrongdoer who harms his neighbor, and then to get out of the way. And that is the most difficult job, is to get out of the way. But we can get government out of the way with God's blessing if we keep the pressure on, if we keep the emails coming. Thank you so much for StopAustinScanners.com. My colleagues in the legislature, they said, where are these emails coming from? And they came and spoke to me many times, and they wanted to stop. I can guarantee you that they mean a lot. Thank you for your calls, for the emails, and for supporting me. I just was a little bitty part of the spear. And I would have been completely ineffective if it hadn't been for y'all. Thank you so much. This is the 175th year of Texas independence. Woo! And most of y'all know that I wear a little pin that says Texas and Liberty on it. It comes from, not from Texas, it comes from Georgia. It comes from a 17-year-old girl who, along with a bunch of other Georgians, heard about the tyranny in Texas when the Constitution was revoked. And Santa Ana came to get our little cannon in Gonzales. And then on November 12, 1835, they raised $3,000 to outfit 150 Georgia volunteers to come to Texas to fight for liberty. And Joanna Troutman did what she could. She took her white silk skirt and she put a blue star on both sides. And on the front it said Texas and Liberty. On the back it said in Latin, where liberty dwells, there is our country. We won our independence by freedom being our banner. And people came from all over the United States and all over the world. We need to make this, once again, a come and take it moment. We had an opportunity, and we lost like the Alamo. But we can have another San Jacinto if we persevere, if we do not give up, if we never, never, never give in, except to honor and good principles, and never yield to force, as Winston Churchill explained. Well, thank you so much for signing your names here. And I'm going to sign my name on this flag because I was asked to. It's not, I didn't mean that. No. But I hope to bring some more money to this organization to keep up your fine work from Liberty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Go get it signed. good friend of mine. He just wrapped up 3 years at the Lone Star Report, which is a very unique paper because they have a different spin on things instead of libertarian conservative views. And he has done many television and radio event appearances giving free market perspectives on issues facing all Texans. And it goes on and on and on and on, and he's amazing. And the only thing I know that he would be glad that I said is he's from Denton. He's very proud of where he comes from. So he's from Denton. He's been here for a while though, and he's an amazing guy. And now that we have your full attention with David Simpson, I want to invite Andy Hogue to come up here and talk to you guys for just a few minutes.
As I said earlier, I am a reporter. I don't speak my mind very often, but I am tonight. First of all, I want a microphone stand. I love these things. You don't have to hold the microphone.
Modern technology.
That's really great. I love it. The reason I feel comfortable speaking my mind tonight is because we have friends here. I feel comfortable in this room. I feel comfortable that I can say, what's wrong with Mayor Leffenwell? Why did you put a 3-item limit on our freedom of speech?
Because he's a tyrant!
That's right. You can go to HEB and get 10 items in the express lane, but you can only get 3 in the Austin Steakhouse. Something's wrong there. I'm glad to be here tonight. And I feel so comfortable. I was at a wedding earlier today, and we had this Hawaiian theme going on, so I kept my shirt on because I want to party with you guys. We're going to get down here in a bit, but first of all, I want to share some things that are very important to my heart. We're not alone this evening. No, not at all. We're the people of this great nation who are standing in the way of national ID cards. You can boo if you want to. Boo. We're standing in the way of mandatory blood draws. Boo. I like that. Obamacare. Boo. Gun control, like that cash for guns or whatever it is. Boo. Airport body scanners. And let's not forget the advanced pat down for the TSA. Yeah. Yes, it's a tireless and endless effort to preserve liberty, but it's one that I'm glad that we have friends here tonight. It's refreshing. It's a vacation here tonight. I'm glad to be here. This is the biggest joke we can have all year, and let's just give ourselves a hand. Gatherings like these are also good for a more solemn purpose. They help us like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting a little bit, or maybe a grief support group for those who mourn the loss of our Constitution. With that, I'm going to ask for your indulgence for a second. I'm going to confess what you may consider a sin, and I need your support on this. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Hogue, and I'm a Republican. Well, I know we got at least 2 more we love. I know Mr. Simpson's a Republican. Got him on this. There we go. Good. Gonna fix that. Ron Paul's a Republican. Yeah! That's okay. I support TAG. And a quick show of hands, how many vote in the Republican primary? It's okay if you do. Oh, yeah, hey, honesty, I like that. Okay, let's be fair. How many libertarians we have in the house? I believe I saw the rightful governor of Texas somewhere back there. See there? Yeah. There we go. I'm going to go out on a limb here and ask how many Democrats are here tonight? It's okay? Wow. That's it's okay. Any independents in the house? Hey, guys, we need all types to make this organization work. We may not all see eye to eye on Iraq or charter schools, but the sin is patriotic, is it not? Yeah. Tonight I'm here to make an appeal for you to support TAG in any way you can, which is fighting for a slate of causes that I'm sure most of us agree on. We've run over a few real quick. I mean, we already had the year of review, so I'll spare the time and we'll get the party here in a second. Fluoride in the water is one. That's one that's just going to be pretty united on, and I'm not sure about it, to be honest. Maybe you'll convince me later, but I'll say this. Let's definitely do this. I'll say this, if fluoride is so great, how come it's not on the store shelf? How come we can't put it in our own water? Yeah. How about stopping mandatory blood draws? That speaks for itself. Blood is sacred. Fusion centers, I think we're all wanting transparency for our fusion centers. Toll roads, I'm an expert on toll roads. I've come to the Texas legislature for 3 years, but I've been on Trans-Texas Corridor since 2003, back before Rick Perry signed that secret contract. And let me tell you something, the late Rick Williamson, our former transportation executive, he told me by the time I was his age that there would be no free roads in Texas anymore. It would all be toll-based. Well, I'm here to tell you today he was wrong. We have put the brakes on Trans-Texas Corridor. As a reporter, there were times when toll roads went to the back burner, and forget about a bill on fusion centers, and we barely even got a bill on the pat-downs or the body scanners. But they don't have time, many legislators don't have time to fight for these issues. They're busy trying to make numbers crunch, make budgets balance, etc. But often when a bill is trying for our attention, say a bill that's attempting to tie our driver's license to real ID, or how about those cameras that are supposed to ticket speeders on I-35? That was actually a pilot program on one bill that I got. Who's going to stand up for that? Our legislators don't often have the time to do so. That's why we need TAG. We've got the manpower, we've got the passion, we can keep an eye on these things and nip those in the bud. Thank God for TAG. Your donation is not only an investment in the future of Texas, but also the funding of the continuation of freedom in this country. I want you to consider making a donation. I did some math before we came up here. If we all gave 1%, say there's 200 people in this audience. I know we've had 200 people before, maybe about 150 tonight. If we all gave 1% of our yearly income, assuming the yearly income of a Texan is around $28,000, guess how much money that would get? $56,000. We had 100 people in this room giving 1% of their income. That would be about $28,000. We all gave 10%. Let's say we went back to the Bible and gave our tithe, right? We gave our tithe to the church and another tithe to the TAG. That would be $500,000. More than enough to get one more David Simpson in office. Consider it, if you look on your table or somewhere, it might have fallen to the ground or behind, look for this form. The minimum donation, I think, is $20 to join TAG, but there's more. There's the other amount. There's 20, 50, 100. Please consider filling this out, donating to TAG. We need boots on the ground. We need eyes on the system. And we got to read those bills. So thank you, TAG. Thank you for being there. Thank you for doing what I couldn't do as one man and covering the legislature. Thank you for being there. And at that point, I'll turn it over to who's next.
Andy makes a good point, and one thing that I've always tried to emphasize is with Texans for Accountable Government, you get a lot of bang for your buck because there's absolutely no bureaucracy. We don't pay for an office. We have no paid staff, although if we made enough money, we would pay Heather to work for TAG. She works her butt off anyway, but if we were able to have her commit the time for sure, then we could really take it to the next level. So right now I'm going to call on some people. You have the donor cards there. Is there anybody that's willing to donate right now over $100 to Texans for Accountable Government right here on the spot? Anybody? Again, that money's going to go. It's going to go real far. Matt Buckley wants to donate over $100. Get this guy a card. I think there's one right there in front of you. Anybody else? Again, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Mike Ford, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go on, Master. Again, this will go the furthest. Right here, Dr. Lord Presley. Anybody over 100 or plus? Yeah, there you go, Mr. Glass. Right on. Thank you very much. David Simpson wants to donate. Is there anybody else over $100? Again, your dollar will go further donating to Texans for Accountable Government than any other Liberty organization out there. Anybody else? Who else? All right. Yeah, Ray and Daniel Lovenet. Any more takers? 100 plus, the 100 plus club. Do you want to join? Do you want to join? Taylor Meddy! Anybody else? Any takers? Any takers? All right, let me agree! There you have another one. That's like $600. Again, folks, we have no overhead, no paid staff. No, we're not paying Jesse Benton $375,000. Oh! Your money will go very far. Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. Here's what we're going to do now. One more! Mickey Carr, Garrick! Yeah! All right, folks. Everybody that donated is a hardcore activist. Not only are they donating their money, they're donating their time, which is just as valuable. Actually, it's more valuable. So if you can't afford to donate, continue donating your time, and we'll continue bringing you the hardest fighting liberty group in the entire country.
Hell yeah.
You could argue that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. We're going to open up the floor. We're going to auction this off. This was made custom. I want to thank Heather for putting all the work in to get this done. Of course, this was the banner that we flew. You heard the story of the Gonzales flag. It was a cannon. The Texas rebels said, come and take it. It was the same situation. The federal government threatened to close down Texas airports. Texans didn't lay down. They said, come and take it. So, and remember, it's not like this battle's over. This flag will be flown in front of the Capitol, whoever wins it. Be sure to take part in flying it with us whenever we fight back. This cost us $200 to make. We're going to open up the bidding at $150. Signed by David Simpson himself. This is history, ladies and gentlemen. Do I hear $150? $150 for freedom. $150. Do I hear $150? What do we got? $150. Norman Horn. Do I hear $175? $175, ladies and gentlemen. $175. Plus, signed by David Simpson. $175 to Jerry Lynn Ward. Do I hear $200? $200, ladies and gentlemen. For freedom in Texas. For freedom in Texas. Dignity Truck. $200 to Norman Horn. Do I hear $225? $225, ladies and gentlemen. $225. Right there, $225. Do I hear $250? $250, ladies and gentlemen, for a flag signed by David Simpson. For freedom, it will fly in the future. Jerry Lynn Ward, $250. Do I hear $275? $275, ladies and gentlemen, for the flag signed by David Simpson himself. For travelers' dignity, $275, ladies and gentlemen. Do I hear $275? Do I hear $275? Do I hear $300? Do I hear $300? $300, ladies and gentlemen. We have $275. Do I hear $300? $300. $275 going once. $275 going twice. Signed by David Simpson, ladies and gentlemen. $275 to Jerry Lynn Ward. Thank you, Jerry Lynn Ward. Jerry Lynn Ward is also showing his tax legal great activist, great supporter. All right, that's right, folks. Remember, everybody paid $20 for the one-year annual membership. One thing you can do, if you want to give as little as $10 a month, it'll really go a long ways. Plus, we'll know that we have a steady $10 of income. We'll be able to plan better. Not a big fan of planning, but it does work as long as it's voluntary. So thank you so much for everybody that supported. We just raised about $1,000 right there, and that's really going to go very far to defend your liberty. Thank you.
I know you just made me, Heather, and John, and all the steering committee very happy. That's getting a load off. That pays for the event. I really appreciate it. Yes.
Remember, we have 3 silver ounces. You can get raffle tickets for me. I will be circulating, or you can get them at the front. You have an opportunity to win 1 of 3. So, you know, again, it's $1 each, buy 5. You have an opportunity. They're worth $40.
40, 45.
And it's going to keep going up.
So hold on to. Yes, that's next steering committee. Everyone that has signed up to be on the steering committee, can you please just get ready to come up here because we're way over time, and we are over time every year, and I try my best to be a Nazi about it, and they just speak anyway. I know it's First Amendment lovers, please bear with me, and I really apologize for going over. It was really supposed to be over, but you know, just so many amazing people, it's hard to get it all in. Steering committee over here. I also want to ask, you know, we have ways to talk and communicate with you guys through email and Facebook and etc. But we really want to know if there's anybody else on the floor that wants to run for steering committee as well. So you can put nominations for someone they think should run and they can accept. Or I just want to open it up for anybody else that might not have heard that we were taking candidates for steering committee. So is there anybody out there that wants to run or sort of... Okay. Anybody? Yeah. Ed Heimlich is running. Huh? He is on here. So Ed Heimlich, you had a nomination here already. That's great. Anybody else before I just send them up? Okay, they have 1 minute, guys. We're over. 1 minute. This is me. This is who I am. This is what I'm about to get off the stage. Okay. All right, guys. Here we go. I'm just going to do it randomly. Me. Hi, I'm Katie Brewer, and I've been on the steering committee since the beginning, and the inception in 2008, and I think that I wanted to run and kind of stay on because there's so many new people running that I think we needed a old school texture on the steering committee to just try to lead them in the right way. But that's why I'm running! All right! Next is Rob Love. I'm going the opposite way. Rob Love.
What a stud this time!
Thank you. 1 minute? Sweet. Well, I would just like to encourage all of y'all to get active, especially in the sense of media. You get trained for free at Public Access. Check out a digital camera, which Clay Defoe used at City Council. We got great footage. We check out computers to edit. So please get involved and help spread the message of liberty via the tools that the city gives you, or tools that you have yourself, and just bring others involved, because as David Simpson said, the message of liberty is really popular, and in 10 years, we're going to need to have this event at the stadium, because that's how many people in this country love liberty. Thank you very much.
That was Rob Lowe. Next is Marissa Stewart. Marissa. Okay, Heather, can you get the table so Marissa can actually get away from the table? And I apologize to Marissa. After this, I will sit at the table and you can party. I promise.
Okay, sorry if I have tacos all over me. I just had to eat really fast. My name is Marissa Stewart, and I'm currently part of TAG's effort to get single-member districts in Austin and stop the real estate corporation and stop the public thinking from influencing all these elections and getting representative government here in Austin, because Austin is the biggest city without representative government, which is ridiculous and it needs to change. And I would like to help do that, and I'd like to follow in Heather Barzo's footsteps. She's the person who really made me feel comfortable becoming an activist, and I really thank you, Heather, and I would like to do as much as you've done for Austin and the state of Texas. Thank you.
And I just want to put in there, just right in the middle, that every single one of these people are really amazing, and we can tag is very lucky. Jeff Kantoff. Jeff Kantoff.
I just want to say I've been involved for a long time, and I got to confess that I started to get a little bit burned out. But the fire is back in me. I want to be on the steering committee. And I do want to say this real quick. I became involved. Once a month I have money taken out. A sustaining member, why couldn't I think of it? I want to encourage everybody. It's like a breeze going through your bank account. Just sign up for it, and it really helps out. Anyway, please vote for me. Thank you.
Jeff Kantoff. Next on the list is Taylor Medding.
Hi, my name is Taylor Medding, and I got involved in this movement about a year ago. I started to speak out when I, express myself at UT, and I found Libertarian Longhorns, which I will always love so much, and it catapulted me into Texas for Accountable Government. And with the TSA stuff going on in December, that's my first meeting at Airport Advisory Committee, and I was too scared to speak, but I'm not scared to speak anymore. I got that fight in me, I have that passion, and I just love this movement so much. And I'm so proud to be a part of it. And I'm just ready to be a part of the next generation of TAG members and steering committee. And I'm kind of emotional because this has been a beautiful night. And I love it. I love everything about this night. I love the passion. I love the compassion. I just love this movement. And I'm ready for it. Nothing can defeat me, guys. So please don't. Next on the list, Ed Heimlich. Ed. He is not here. He was here, but he had to leave. Okay.
He's at every meeting.
Every meeting. Very high monthly sustaining donor. So it's his money can be voted on, part of it. Next on the list, Laura Presley. Dr. Laura, I'm telling you, I was going to say PhD.
Hey guys, I'm on the steering committee of Fluoride Free Austin with all these wonderful people you saw tonight. They're just amazing. Also, I'm an anti-TSA activist. I cannot stand getting growth. It just hurts my body and it hurts my heart like you can't imagine. So what I want to be for accountable government. I want to back up and say why, my assessment of why TAG is so successful. There is so much power and passion in the truth.
Yes.
Okay? The truth has an incredible energy and passion and power. The truth will set you free is not just a set of words, not a slogan. Okay? It will set us free. And that is why TAG has been so powerful and so successful. They tell the truth, and everybody out here needs to say that truth. The more that we say it, the more it gets across, the more it happens, and we get our freedom. So that's why I love this organization, and I want to be a part of it. Thank you.
Next, but most certainly not least, is Jennifer Wissinger. Love it. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, I'm Jennifer Wissinger, and I'm running for TAG Steering Committee because TAG means so much to me. Because once I graduated from UT, I took 2 years off from activism. I've been an activist pretty much since birth. I went to my first protest I can remember when I was 6 years old. It was my first time here in Austin, marching around the Capitol, and I've just loved activism. But I took 2 years off because I just couldn't find a group that really fit me and that kept me passionate until I found out about TAG. And I got involved about a year and a half ago. And for the last year and a half, TAG has just done a great job of motivating me and keeping me passionate and involved in the movement, and I just love it so much, and I really want to become more involved. So I hope that you vote for me for TAG Steering Committee. Jennifer Wissinger. Jennifer Wissinger. Okay, I'm going to go over the voting again. You got your little ticket at the table. You go to the voting rescue booth over here and you get your ballot if you haven't gotten it already. And you only mark 7. We have 7 spots for the steering committee, and the weirdest thing, we had 8 running. So one of those amazing, fantastic people will not make the steering committee. However, they are amazing and they'll still be participating in it. It's okay. So it's all good. But anyway, you go over there, you get your ballot, and then you give it to Vicki or Karen at Vote Rescue, and now it's party time. I know. Finally! Finally! We're going to be cutting cake, so come get some cake. I'm not even sure about food. I haven't even been outside to eat myself. And we have a short announcement, by Robert Morrow. And he's just going to announce something real quick.
While the band sets up, if Robert Morrow comes down here, you're tall enough, baby, you don't need the stage. Come down here. Come down here. Let them get set up, and Robert Morrow has something for y'all.
Hey folks, it's Robert Morrow here. He loves Perry. Head of the Committee Against Sexual Hypocrisy. And Rick Perry is the #1 offender. Few quick words about Rick Perry. This is a guy who runs on Judeo-Christian values, who was autographing Bibles in South Carolina last week, who was on stage a month ago with preachers who would do what? Who would throw every homosexual in jail, ban every strip club, ban all forms of pornography, including Playboy. Yet, Rick Perry has been living a porno lifestyle for 25 years. The man is a rampant bisexual adulterer. We have many rampant. I don't mean just a stripper. I mean strippers. I mean hookers. I mean gay escorts. I mean closet gay men. The bottom line is this: appeal to the greater community to quit covering for Rick Perry. Come to me, and we'll tell the world how you really do.